Team Sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Welcome and good morning, Santa Barbara. My name is Erica Salda. I'm the Queen of Teen. It is a beautiful Santa Barbara morning. I mean, how much more beautiful can it get here? Saying my prayers, we're going to probably have Anthony come out later and add to our preparations for, we like to do disaster relief and be mindful of it. We're in a really bad season right now. We are still in a drought. We need to think about those things moving forward so we could all enjoy our wonderful summer. In the house today, we have Ed Langlow, Dominique Hackett, Don Sanders, of course, the ever ready, but Bunny, I want to call him, right? Richard Dugan, our producer, Christine Marie, and back, put our hands together, Emily Urgenson is back. And she's back to stay. She's promised me at least once a month, because it's her light that shines. And we need light workers like you, Em, to be part of this programming, because now that we're on the other side of everything, all right, we need to have people like yourself and all of us here on the show to start anew, right? The new normal is, I guess, is the best way to put it. Let's go around and be thankful. We have a little thankfulness like we like to do in the beginning of most of our shows. And we'll start with Dominique. What do you want to be thankful for, Dee?
I'm thankful. It's going to sound weird. I'm thankful to my ex-husband. We had he reached out to one of our kids that needed some really wonderful, loving attention. So to all those parents that are reaching out to their kids through this pandemic and making sure that everybody's okay, keep checking in. Don't stop. Keep checking in and making those connections. So great appreciation.
Beautiful. That's a good story, Dee. And it's true, because we've seen a lot of disconnect. I mean, I've seen a lot of families unite, and then I've seen a lot of families divide a little bit. And I know everybody's on their own path and their own journey, but it is important when you're going through something like this to view yourself. I always like Richard's explanation of it. It's kind of a reflection. And I honestly have tried to love my way out of everything. I mean, no judgment. It's going to pass. I know this is for my greater good. I know it sounds woo-woo, but I mean, what else do you have to hold on to? Emily, what do you got to share about that? I know you got light. And then I got all of you guys.
Oh, I'm so grateful today to be with the Team Sport Radio family. I am just so blessed to be here. You all put out so much light, and I am just so tremendously grateful. It is a beautiful day in Santa Barbara, and there's so much love and light and so much to look forward to for this upcoming summer. So I'm grateful to be here today with you all.
Definitely. Right back at you. We definitely love you. Christine Marie.
Well, we
need a good card for today, for sure.
We do. I can pick it a little bit later. How about that? But I wanted to be ready. I am so grateful to the nursing staff on the oncology ward at Cottage Hospital, specifically Martha, who always remembered my name, always said good morning to me, always helped me feel so welcome. And then also the social workers there who have helped me place my mom in a nursing facility and are helping me get housing for her so while she's doing her treatment. So I think I'm just so incredibly grateful for all of the people in this community that work, I almost want to cry, but that work so hard for everybody, for especially the people who are the most vulnerable in our community. And I'm just so grateful that there are so many people supporting the people that need support. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Well said, Christine.
Oh, the social workers are Kathy and Courtney. Kathy and Courtney are the social workers I'm working with at the hospital.
Yay! Shout outs. We love shout outs. Hey, Don.
Hey, I'm grateful for the passion and power of youth. Yeah, the future. And no one's excluded here, because if your spirit's youthful and you're moving forward, you're part of the future. But this last week, my 19-year-old son, who doesn't necessarily talk to us that much unless he wants a ride or this and that, He's just sat down here in the living room and just talked to us about everything around the world for 5.5 hours. And I just want to say to the teen audience out here and all the younger and olders that the same way that the sun comes up in the morning and brightens and makes everything feel better, it's like your parents feel really good, like when the sun comes up, when young people are making progress.
Yay. Definitely. Very well said. Hey, Ed.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to say thanks to a friend of mine, Les Cushman. He's always been there every time I've asked him for help with something. The first time he helped me out, we had never met. We'd talked on the phone. And so Les has always been there. So thank you to Les Cushman.
Nice. Beautiful. Everybody needs a Les Cushman in their life.
Yeah.
And he's also known as Richard Dugan because sorry, it was so funny. I made myself cough. No, but I mean that lovingly. It's a loving cough. You know, anytime you're coughing, it's a sign of good luck. That's what my mother always said. There's always good luck. Oh, just got your car washed, and pigeons flew all over it, left everything on your car. Oh, that's good luck. More good luck. Dr. D, what do you say?
I say I am thankful for, especially for Mother Nature and what she has been bringing us over the last few months that has really, I think, helped to keep us, even though some of us are going through some rather difficult mental issues because of we're slowly getting back into the swing of things. It's not easy, because of what's been going on the last 18 months, and I understand that. But I'm just thankful that, at least in our part of the world, here on the South Coast, Mother Nature has been very kind to us, that we haven't had to deal with a lot of the things that we have over the last 15 years I've been here. And we've been able to just kind of, okay, let's just kind of shake it off from the past 18 months, and let's see what we can do to get back together and have community. And also one other shout out. A friend of mine I met at Starbucks about a year or two, maybe 3 years ago, and she had this gorgeous, huge white, and I can't even remember the breed of the dog. The name of the dog was Lucas. And I saw a woman today. She wasn't there with Lucas, and I said, "Hey, where's Lucas?" And she said, "Oh, he passed away back in December." And I could certainly relate. So my shout out is to her and her now in the ethers best friend Lucas. Fortunately, she's also gotten a new dog, so she's not alone. But I told her, I says, "You're never alone, because my dog Makushla and your dog Lucas, they're both following us and taking care of us and watching over us." So that's my shout out for the day.
Oh.
That's so beautiful.
All right, so let's do this. Let's take a break. You've got Dominique Hackett right up after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. I'm Dominique Hackett, and today we're talking about lots of things that are happening as we're moving back into a new normal. And one of the things that I've been tracking is how have our kids been doing in school? And there's different articles coming out measuring their scholastic successes, but also scholastic failures coming out of this pandemic. And it seems like those students that were more, maybe you would call them nerds, that's the word they used in my time, who were less dependent on social.
It's revenge of the nerds now because they excel. You know what I mean?
Less dependent on social interaction and more perhaps introverted in their abilities to learn. They seem, if they've had access to technology, they seem to be doing very well through this pandemic. But the students that needed the sports and they needed more social interacting to anchor in their process of learning, especially if they have things like ADHD and so forth, they have truly suffered this last year. So they're literally calling it learning recovery resources. And everyone, at least in the state of California, is scrambling to try to figure out how to get to our population. Some of the kids, there's over 150,000 children in California that did not even register for school last year. They didn't have access to technology. And even though they were public school students, they didn't even register. So
they didn't have the transportation.
They didn't have transportation. Mm-hmm. They didn't have support at home in order to continue their scholastics. So we as a population need to recognize that our kids need our help in order to help them catch up from this past year. So please, if you have additional time and resources as everything opens up from the pandemic, consider helping out your local school and maybe offering to tutor students, or if you only have time once a week, figure out something, maybe help with a sport, help coach, be an assistant coach for a sport. But let's give our kids in our community a lot of love. They need us.
Beautifully well said. Christine, you're the teacher in the house. What say you? What do you think? You actually thought that all this that's going on right now was going to happen. I mean, how can it not happen, right?
Well, I think it's interesting. My godchildren, they're in Los Angeles, and their parents kept them home even though their school opened up, because they felt that they were going to go to school, but just sit in a homeroom class with just certain people and not get any interaction. And she really did, and she didn't trust that other people were going to, be as safe as they were. So, and there have been some struggles. Like my godson has a little bit of I find it fascinating that even though it's we're in the electronic age and we're on Zoom, they still feel some kids are still feeling outcasted. They're still feeling like they're not cool. They're still feeling like they don't know how to navigate the emotional or the social emotional realm within that. The electronic world too. And my goddaughter has probably had a better time about it. She's a much more social person as it is. But I just found that the struggles there, and what I think is very interesting is with the kids who are home with their parents who have the resources, that now the parents are being able to see their children in a new light, to see their learning struggles, to see the different things that are happening that maybe only the teachers would have told them before and they might not have understood. So I think that that's very helpful. And I think also one of the most helpful things about the online learning has been that kids can get up and move and run around, and they don't have to be sitting at a desk doing something. They can be in the house listening and doing what they need to do and on the camera, but not, they don't have to just be sitting there being quiet, because they can mute themselves if they need to say something. That's my sense of it. I don't have kids. It's not in there, but I hear the stories.
Emily, this is interesting to bounce off of you for a sec, because you've always, throughout the whole pandemic, you've been teaching. And so you're involved with families, and you actually try to build on that by including the parents to learn along with the children, which is great to help. You're doing your own little ministry work. You don't even think it just came natural to you. But what do you think? I know parents talk to you. What do you say?
Yeah, well, it's been a real challenge for sure. I know at a certain point early on, the parents were eager to get their kids in music, have their kids stay in music lessons. And so we did it online, but after a while they had been on the computer all day long. And so, then I had more, like in January, more dropping off from the online piece of things because they wanted that live interaction. And so it was that movement and that being outside and that connection is so important to learning and making those connections, those synapses connecting in the brain, right? There are 7 types of intelligence that I love that, natural intelligence, emotional intelligence, all that kind of stuff. So we've been focusing and honing in on very specific intelligence with the technology. So I do think that a lot of kids have suffered with that. And that's why it's nice that it's summertime, because maybe just being connected with family and being outside. And I mean, Dr. D talked about nature, right? The healing power of nature. So playing actually teaches us a lot. So I'm excited about the summer and how kids can now get out, because a lot of learning just happens in loving contexts, being on adventure outside. So those are just a few thoughts.
Well, I love what they've done with State Street. Dominique and I have been going up and down there the last couple of weeks, and I hope they just keep it that way. I mean, I hope it stays. I mean, so there's always a transition, right? So of all the things that you've done for safety and everything like that, what really works? We've been figuring out State Street I've been here for almost 40 years. We've been since Westmont. We're trying to figure out State Street because it slides up and down and up and down in recovery and then abundance. But it seems I like this. I think it looks good. It looks busier, right? It looks busier, leaving it as a promenade. Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that idea. And it's been tossed around for a long, long time. I think 15, 20 years ago, there were some local artists that I was talking to down there. And we were saying, oh, wouldn't it be so great to have a promenade and to have grass down there, to have much more social activity? I think it's really wonderful.
Well, if you want families to come down there, you got to give them family activities.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they should be like gaming centers. I mean, the kids can go gaming, parents could go get a glass of wine. I mean, just back in the Midwest, I remember I was in my 20s and the bars are gigantic and, kids can go in there because there was a section for the kids. Mm-hmm. And then you had fish fry on Friday and it's like there wasn't anybody in the town that wasn't at that bar at that fish fry. I mean, this bar is probably 5,000 square feet. I mean, it's gigantic. And then they had bands and whatever. It's just, I like that. I mean, you want to, if you build it, I think they'll come. So I think what we did on State Street is we built it, and I think more people will come.
I've been wondering too about the farmers market. I don't know if I've been down to the farmers market on a Tuesday, but it's not as disruptive now because the blocks are always open. So I wonder, has anybody gone down to the farmers market regularly on Tuesdays to see how the feeling is there? And it might be nice to have there something be even maybe, gosh, there could be a sort of semi-permanent farmers market down on State Street. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be really beautiful. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
All right. Don, do you have anything you want to say, or Ed?
Yeah, with the healthy food, that's a good, anything you can do to reinforce, your studies, the outdoors, all that kind of stuff. Just it's just good habitable foundation stuff for now and into your future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well said.
Ed, you're going to be up next. Do you have something to close us out with, or you want to just jump in on the next?
I haven't been. I went down to the farmers market during the pandemic period when they had restrictions in the lines and you had to stand in a certain line to get in. I haven't been down recently, but I'm sure they're going to start relaxing some of those things. But as far as the promenade, once they work out some of the issues with emergency vehicle access, I think it is going to become a permanent thing. It's really starting to look that way.
Right.
Some of those parklets may not be able to be where they're at, but I think it's going to be a promenade in the future. So
that's great.
It's a good thing. Driving down State Street.
Excellent.
In the past, you couldn't park there anyway. You couldn't park on State Street. You had to go around the block.
Exactly.
And find a parking garage. So you really, other than being able to drive down, and I think the tourists maybe used to like to do that, but and the old cruisers, but those things are obviously not going to happen anymore.
Now they can walk or bike. Talk about good exercise.
Oh, yeah.
That's really fantastic. And I do see a lot more families down on State Street now. I have seen that.
And they've also made an interesting modification I'm very grateful for, and that is at Victoria, it used to be blocked off between Chapala and State Street. Well, they opened it up. You do have to be careful when you're weaving around the parklets, but at least it's a throughway now. So they've opened that up. And I think that they should have all the cross streets open and available to get across town. But I'm with everybody else. I am loving the fact that they have, because I'm with Ed in terms of, I mean, I loved cruising up and down State Street, but there is no place to park. They don't, and yeah, I know the delivery trucks have some problems, but there are back entrances too. So I think that it's a good thing for the businesses. I think it's a good thing for tourism. I think it's also a good thing for the public that lives here, the residents, to have a place that they can walk and not feel like they're going to be mowed down by the cars.
Yeah.
I'll have to divulge my age here, but when I cruised State Street, there was parking. You could park on either side of the street.
I thought you were going to say it was a dirt road.
Hey,
And there's only horses and buggies.
Carriages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was a 4-lane boulevard with parking on both sides. The sidewalks were maybe 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
And when they changed all that, the parking and the number 2 lanes went away. But that was back in the 60s.
Yeah. All right.
Ed, we love you.
Oh, you're not gonna make up for that comment. The dirt path comment? No. No.
I was inspired by your what do you call it? The picture behind you. I saw a horse and I saw a horse and buggy in my mind, and I just went with it.
Okay, keep trying, Erica. Keep trying.
That's fine wine.
That's right.
Just keeps getting better with age.
That's right. That's right.
This is a community love show.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Let's take a break. Ed Langlow, and If Only I'd Known, right after these.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand, every boy, every girl, and a man.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday, 9 a.m.
Well, welcome back to Teen Sports, and If Only I'd Known. I'm Ed Langlow, and I have a program here that is based on fathers, with Father's Day coming up. I think it's appropriate. So Teen Sports and If Only I'd Known is based on a mentor's moment with the teens with us remotely, as well as those listening into the show. And today's If Only I'd Known segment is the importance of a father's love. This last week, I heard something on the radio about a documentary by Lee Habib. I believe it'll be released on Father's Day, but just the name grabbed my attention. It's called The Streets Were My Father. You might have heard something about it. I've heard it several times on the radio. But I listened to an interview with Carlos Colon, one of the 3 subjects in this documentary. And Carlos grew up in Chicago without a father in his life. He got into gangs and was in an altercation and was shot in the leg. When he got out of the hospital, he ran across one of the gang members that was involved in his shooting. He shot him 5 times, and that young man died that night. Carlos Colon went to prison for murder. He learned that his grandfather hadn't been there for his dad either. And with his girlfriend expecting, now his own son would have to grow up without a father around. While he was in prison, he turned to religion. When he got out, he went to a church meeting with a man named Nelson Vargas. He got up to testify at that meeting, and Colon realized that Nelson was the father of the boy he had murdered years earlier. Carlos wasn't sure what to do, so he had another member of the church make arrangements for them to meet. When Carlos told him about the void growing up without a father, they formed a bond. Nelson told him, I will be your father. And I obviously have a void in my life, so you will now be my son. So as I researched this, I started seeing statistics like 85% of men in prison didn't have a father present in their lives. 75% of high school dropouts, 70% of boys that commit suicide didn't have a strong father present in their life. My father was gone when I was growing up, and I made a lot of mistakes. And most of the mentors' moments I've done the past 2 years have been based on my life's experiences and mistakes I've seen or felt I made. So I'm hoping to combine some of these things to make some noise and get people to look at some of these statistics and encourage people to, and I'll use my friend Anselmo Villanuela's slogan, be the person you needed when you were a child. My advice to fathers is look at some of these statistics. If you're an absentee father, think about what the experience might be doing to your children and make an effort to spend more time with them. And my advice to teens without a father present in their lives, don't just sit around waiting for someone to find and help you. Talk to your mother, talk to your counselor at school, reach out to the Boys and Girls Club. Even if you don't think you need any advice, like I didn't, talk to someone. Promise you this. If we all make just a little effort, maybe we can steal some of these kids back from the gang issues, the depression, or their misguided directions. We can make a difference. Don't let the streets be their father. I'm Ed Langlow, and I'll see you next time on If Only I'd Known.
Oh, Ed, that was so wonderful. This is Christine Marie.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. And, it reminded me too that, there is a man, I don't know his name, but on YouTube, but he's the dad. He shows you how to tie ties. He goes around the house and does all the dad stuff where you can, so Google that. It's really lovely. Because he grew up without a dad. And I'm just so touched. Thank you so much for bringing that today.
What is it called?
Whoa.
What is his website called? No.
He's not the dad of YouTube.
So, he's YouTube. So if you look
YouTube.
up at the dad, dad stuff on YouTube or how to, like the how to. It's really lovely what he does. He just it's so nice when people who haven't had something offer that, right? Because know we are the. Well, I think there's and some of the teachings that I've gone through, it's like our wound is a doorway to our gift. So that thing which we think, which has been withheld from us, is really the thing that we're here to give and to learn how to give and to support each other. Like I didn't grow up with a father either. So as a woman, as a girl who didn't have that, it's very powerful I'm just so grateful to the men out there that are taking that to help all of the children.
I thought of something along those lines of what you just said. It's the old saying that when one door closes, another one opens, and you just have to look for that door. It's not always an obvious thing that's going to fall in your lap. And with Carlos Colon, going to prison was probably the worst thing that ever happened to him. But finding religion, which led him out of the darkness, the gangs, and all this was the new door that opened for him. And, I've thought about, too, that Anthony could probably speak to the teen issues with the Out of the Darkness programs that he's involved in better than I.
Yeah, huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very huge. My kids did the same thing with, they've adopted this gentleman, I got to get his name, down in San Diego, and they golf with him regularly. And he's kind of like the grandfather my boys felt they never had with both sides of our family. But when I heard that, I was like emotional and I felt so bad. And it's true because the grandfathers on both sides really didn't participate in their life at all. And they said, your father will break that karma, that trend. And then so will you, because when you become a grandfather, how important it was.
You do.
And the meaning. So their thirst for it, they love this guy, and this guy has really made them part.
I mean, they're planning trips together. It's like, he goes, Mom, it's not weird. I go, no, it's not, because it's a soul tribe. And I've said this from the beginning. When you meet somebody, you don't know what the connection is. I look at Dominique and our relationships, just with everybody on Teen Sports Radio. This is our soul family. Everybody on this program would do anything for any of us.
And you hear that. You hear that from some of the gang members. They talk about they got into the gang because that became their family. And they're suggesting that their biological family was not there for them. Could have been likely their father was not present. And that's what motivated them.
I remember when, this is Emily, I remember when I taught, my first 3 years of teaching was in an alternative high school, and there were gang members in there. And I remember there's a movie called Mi Familia, and this gang leader, I sat down and I watched the movie with him because it was one of his English assignments, and he had to write about this family and the difference between the gang family and the family that, you know, a natural family, organic family. And it was so neat because I remember him actually crying and tearing up. And it was a story. I don't remember the particulars, but a story about a Mexican family coming over to LA and the lack of a dad in the family and all the kind of things that lead you into that path, right? That gang path. And I remember him crying, this kid. And I was just, I think that we made some sort of breakthrough to understand that there's really a difference, right? That family comes from a heart-centered connection, and gang life comes from a survival mentality and a lack of that. So I'll never forget that. It was very powerful.
Well, it's the power of being a mentor and getting involved in the kid's life. Is you don't have to be their biological father or stepfather. Just be a mentor, be anyone there, particularly with the boys, to straighten them out. If I could go back in time, I would slap the hell out of my 14-year-old self until I listened to reason and listened to the mistakes that I was making. And it's really crucial that someone is.
Well said. Richard Ellsworth has joined us. How you doing, Richard?
I'm doing well. I jumped in at a moment where I have no idea what's going on, but I'm doing very well.
Well, we are looking forward to your section right after these messages.
So Brazil, back in the USSR, way down in LA, every day, dancing in the street, crossing China too, me and you, dancing in the street.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salt, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. This is Christine Marie with a view from the deck, and I've decided that I'm pulling a card for Richard so that he can talk about it. Richard, middle, bottom, or top?
I'm feeling the top.
The top. Okay. Oh, interesting. Prudence is the card. It's the 8 of Pentacles. And I look at this card, Pentacles, it's material. This card is about reaping the harvest of your life's work, especially in the material realm. And the plant in this card is like coming from heaven. And the plants look like the fruit that she's picking. They actually look like radishes, but they're coming from the sky. And they're red and they're heart-shaped. And they're really lovely. So I feel like it's about really reaping the harvest of our life's work. And this is the gross harvest and taking it in. And even though it comes from the earth, it also comes, I believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So it comes from, the spirit and earth. That's what we're everything. So this card really talks about, understanding that what's happening now in our lives is that we're learning from these things. And, we've just recently had a really powerful solar eclipse. And that was last, the 10th, last Thursday. And a lot of shadow stuff and a lot of interesting things have come up, I think might have come up for people over the last week or two. Emotional stuff. And I think we all learn so much from our lives. And if we can take these things that come up that seem difficult and really work with them and really look at them like, oh, what is this? Especially if it's emotional or difficult, then we can help ourselves and we can help other people. Just like in a sense we were just talking about, like if we weren't raised without a father and then we've learned how to father ourselves, well, then we can help other people learn how to father themselves,
Wow, what a perfect card. What a perfect card. This is Richard with Mountain Sage Healing Arts and the Braille Institute, and that could not be more applicable to things that are going on right now. I've spent the past week here at the Braille Institute putting together classrooms and making everything look good, and that involves spending a lot of material money and, as Christine said, bringing all of that new energy and new stuff in. And I've been focusing on getting things that will be in service to others. So things that are high contrast, rugs that are both black and white, and pillows that are completely fashion nightmares, but serve a purpose of identification where people can look at things and even if they have low vision, identify exactly what it is. Positioning things so that people aren't going to trip or fall, keeping things organized so people can reach for things, and just clearing space and bringing in new positive energy. And that way, when students can eventually come back, they can feel that energy, and they'll want to come in and bring all of their friends, and it'll become a place that's really a big part of the community. So it's very exciting. I've also been doing the same thing.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled about it, and I've been doing the same thing in my personal life, and just getting more material things to sort of uplift me, and not spending money in a way that's not good, but bringing in things that can help to uplift my emotional sense, and bring in some plants and fresh energy that way. And I really encourage everybody to be doing that, to create the space and energy to readapt the space that they're living in to better fit their lives, because we're constantly changing as people. And if our environment is still stuck in who we were before while we're changing, it creates a conflict, and we may go home and start feeling anxiety, and we don't know where it's coming from or why it is. So we want to try and match those energies and create new space all the time, so that everything around us is constantly moving, constantly flowing. And that's especially important in our teenage years, as we really are going through hormonal changes, and all of these things are happening in our lives that seem and feel so significant. And there's so much change going on all the time that our environment does need to keep up with that for our health and our emotional and mental sanity.
Nice. Emily, you're really good at that.
I'm good at that. How so?
Well, because you adapt to an environment, and you're always looking through your own ways. Especially music does that.
Oh yeah,
to everybody. I mean, as soon as you bring an instrument into the room, he was talking about plants, but as soon as you bring an instrument into the room, all of a sudden it just seems like a magical place, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And I was thinking back about that fathering, right? Fathering in that material space. I have a chapter in my book called Healing the Daddy Blues. And so what happens is we have to get in touch with both that feminine and that masculine energy. And the masculine energy can help us to create, right, and move forward in our creative expression. And the feminine energy can hold that space. So, fathering ourselves, as Richard was talking, and creating that space, we need both of those energies as we're moving forward. And what I see is that parenting, like you're reparenting yourself so that creative child, that light in the world can shine its light. And whether you're a child doing this or whether you're an adult doing this, that it's really important that we have that masculine and that feminine kind of working together so that we can shine the light and that the music can play.
That's so beautiful. Dawn, you want to add to that? Because I know you're ready. I could feel it.
Yeah. I think, we're all kind of talking about guidelines for, youth to grow up straight and strong. There's a little story that the mugwort helps the hemp grow straight, in the field. The hemp grows up straight and strong because it gets a little. So we're talking about kind of like a trellis or kind of like a support thing. And so I think, one fundamental thing is that we have appreciation for our parents, because even if things haven't gone right or you're missing one, it's like whatever one you had brought you into the world. And so just fundamentally, always got to get back to that. It's great, activities that accumulate your good fortune. You're doing your best to be your best self. You're making good causes and making lots of friends. And then another one, having patience, meaning don't compare yourself with others. Just make little incremental steps. I saw a cartoon. There's somebody reaching up for this ladder that has giant rungs that are spaced way far apart. But the other side, there's a ladder where they're just taking little steps. Sometimes it's just taking little steps to get up the ladder. And that's really, really important. My wife kills me in Scrabble all the time. I don't even think about winning anymore. It's just continuing. I have fun playing the game. You know what I mean?
That's how Richard feels in hearts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky if I win 1 in 4 games. It's not about the winning. It's about just the doing and the enjoying. And, we keep refocusing, which is really important on taking care of our health, and Richard's been always giving lots of suggestions about ways. All of us, I think, have been pitching in about ways we can live healthier and live better lives. Anyway, I forgot to say Dawn's Massage in Ojai. I also work between Ventura and Santa Barbara. Massage is a great way to settle down and de-stress your immune system. Bring it up, de-stress if you've got a taxed nervous system, and also just feels good.
That's definitely Dawn. We love you. You're my masseuse, and I'm going to see you on Saturday. Let's take a break. This is Erica Salt of the Clean It Team. We'll be back with more after these messages.
You're addicted to love.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salt of the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. Welcome. This is the last section. We have a couple of minutes left. I just want to reach out to all those families out there. It's been grueling. It's been a lot of work this last year. And I talk to teen athletes all the time. And I've always tried to be a mentor my whole life, coaching for 28 years in this town. Walked on to Westmont soccer, became the MVP, and my answer, and I had one senior come over, who was a little heart-struck, not being able to finish out, and I just tried to explain to him, if you're not done with the sport's not going to be done with you. So take the time, use other sources of strength via meditation, yoga, continue stretching, continue to keep your body up. And mentally, we talk about this many times, so many Harvard studies, mentally play the game. I mean, it's proven that psychologically, if you're in the game and you're just 24/7 on the game, you're actually playing the game. I mean, it's just bizarre. So if you guys out there are not ready to don't think that you have to surrender because you lost out on a season, because that's just one of many seasons that you're going to continue to play if you're not over. Okay. And trust me, that's just how it works. You'll know when you're ready to hang up the cleats or the basketball shoes or whatever. You'll know. But Christine, you wanted to say something about teachers.
Well, I wanted to just thank all of the teachers in my life, including my softball coach, Coach Roach. I was at Laguna Beach High School, and I had teachers, Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Sellis, when I was in junior high. These male mentors just so helped me in my life as a child growing up without a father. My mother made sure that I made good connections with teachers. So I just want to thank again all of the people out there who are supporting the people that need support. We love you, we appreciate you, and we're so grateful for everything that we can do.
Definitely. I actually coached for 28 years because of the importance of all the coaching that I've had in my life. So it is all about mentoring, and I love Ed Langlow's section on this show. If only I'd known. So we are going to continue to smile. We've gone through the finish line, Santa Barbara. So let's smile. All right. We've done it. We're back. All right. The new normal is here. God bless you. See you next week.
Nothing's gonna happen.